Morning, Sam here, Real Love Guitars. A quick video. I just wanted to show you how to take apart or reassemble your Oakcaster guitar. This one is in production, so it doesn't have strings on it just yet. But anyway, let's just cover what we've got. So the Oakcaster travel guitars are designed to be really easy to put back together, take apart, put back together. So when you take them apart, you get obviously the body, the headstock, the body, the neck, and the bridge. And all you need on top of that to go away on your holiday with is your choice of a set of strings, and you're pretty much away. Something to cut them with would be handy, but there we go. So the whole point about these guitars is that they're made to be easy to take apart, easy to put back together again, and on this particular one I've made it even simpler in so far as it's got one single bolt or threaded insert to take the big M8 bolt that I'm using. Some have got two, some have got four, but the principle is the same, and the purpose of the bolt is to hold the guitar neck firm, and so that when the guitar neck's back in, you get the same playing action each time. So when this guitar is set up, when it's put together, you get a really nice, easy to play, trademarked sort of Real Love Guitars action. That's what this is all about. So if you're putting your guitar together, take the neck apart, and you want to get the neck heel into the pocket as close to the back as you can. So you won't always get it perfectly, but put it in, press it down. You can see already on this one it's very, very snug. This has got a little wire sticking out at the moment. Let's find somewhere else for it to safely be. This is just prior to wiring it back up. So there you go, I'll keep it sort of out of the way. Okay, so I put the guitar neck in, press it in, and then I'm just going to press down on it just to make sure that it hasn't got any gap there. Most of the time it will go straight in, but it's worth checking that, because if there is any gap, you won't get the bolts in, or the bolt in this case, but even if you could, you might get slightly different playing length, which we don't want. So you can see that I've pushed it in pretty much all the way in. Now I'm going to take my washer, my single bolt, and I'm going to gently push that in, and I've got my M8 Allen key, and you can feel as you're putting the bolts in, whether it's one or several, you can feel whether they're going in or not. If they're not going in, then something's wrong and it's not in the right place. You might need to just kind of double check that it's all seated correctly. Once it's in, you should be able to wind them or the single bolt all in. Now this one is a single one, and it does that really quickly, and job done. Okay, so that's our guitar together. And then where's our thing? Oh yes, we've got a bridge ready with some strings. So here's one I strung earlier because I took it off, but then we just replace the bridge, restring the guitar, or put the bridge on, put new strings on, and away we're away to play. Okay, and then at the end we take the strings off, take the bridge off, flip it over, and do the reverse process. And again, nice and slow with these things. You don't want to ever run the risk of stripping any of the threads, so just take everything slow, and once it's take the bolts all the way out so that there's no chance that they're caught inside. Make sure you've got the washer as well, and then put it on the edge of something, and you can just gently break the guitar like that. Okay, so there's your removal and refitting of the neck on the Real Love Guitars Oakcasters. And you can see this one's in process of being made. This is number 9. This is going to have a blend pot, a volume pot, and it's going to have a Seymour Duncan single coil here and a Seymour Duncan humbucker in the bridge. So it's going to be a really special one. This one, you can see it's got a crack that came in the original. This is really vintage reclaimed English oak. So it's got a crack which I filled with resin, and where it's got really, really fine, I filled it with super glue. So it's got a kind of nice staining effect down the side. The rest of it has a really nice brown oaky look with the grain picked out, but lovely chunky piece of oak, and the weight of that is counteracted by the slightly heavier tuners, which are really nice, a 19:1 ratio. But that's great, but the real bonus is that they just balance this guitar up really nicely. So I'm just going to put this together again one more time, placing the neck close as possible to the back of the pocket, and then just gently easing it in. I deliberately cut the template, or make the template slightly undersized so that we get this snug fit. Now, I demonstrated yesterday on another guitar that they're so snug that you could string this up probably and play it as is, even without the bolt. So, because a couple of folks had said, you know, will it work with just one bolt? Well, the truth is that all the bolt has to do in these guitars is cancel the kind of turning motion that the strings are trying to pull in this pivot here. The bolts don't stop the neck moving around. The snugness of the routed pocket does that. So here we are. The nice thing about having one bolt arrangement as well is that it is much easier to line up a single bolt to its threaded insert. The minute you've got four, if your guitar's got more, then they are a little bit trickier to line up. But there you go, you can see that's beautifully back to where it was. As soon as you put the strings back on, you have the same playing action. The neck returns to its curvature that we had in the beginning, and if anything, if you want a tiny bit of raising or lowering on the bridge, you can do that, but pretty much that stays where it is. The chances are, if you're in transit, these little post things can move in terms of screwing in or out. All you need to know is, well, you don't need to know anything, but you can set them right the way in to begin with, try it out. If it's a little bit too low, you can just use a flat screwdriver or a coin or the edge of something to just raise them up, and you'll get the playing action that you had before. But it's obviously made to play as low as possible, and usually that's around about 1 to 1.5 millimeters of playing action right down at the last fret, so it's really, really low and easy. Okay, there you go. That was informative.